For years, which may look like tar because you got gum on top of gum, dirt and all kinds of debris. And yeah, it's a pretty nasty job because, I mean, at times it's sticky, so it gets all over you. I had situations where before I became, you don't think about stuff like spitting out gum in the street because until you become a victim of it, situation where I got gum. I was going on an interview, I got gum on my Pradas, which were, to me, it's a pretty decent amount of money. They're pretty expensive, and I had to go into the interview with gum all over me, and I didn't have anything sanitary to wipe it off, so the shoes were pretty much ruined at the time. So.
Well, here's some tips from Luis on how to remove gum from everyday products. Let's start with if gum gets in your hair or on your skin and it gets stuck, what do you do?
You can use cooking oil, corn oil, rub it in, massage it. If it's in your hair, you can actually massage it in, and then grab a fine comb and try to comb it on the towards the end of your hair. With the comb, with the fine comb. And also, if it gets on your skin, you can actually massage it off, grab a tissue or napkin, and wipe it off. And then, okay, we were talking about these jobs, and their jobs, all three of their jobs don't necessarily have the best smell. Although Patricia's is a nice smoky beef jerky thing, but. How does it smell when it comes up and it's been like years and years? Well, one of the craziest parts is that although it may look nasty and it may look disgusting after you remove, while you're removing the gum, it smells pretty good. I mean, if you could imagine when it goes in your mouth, it tastes awesome, right? So when you spit it out, after it's covered with all that dirt and, you remove the dirt and the steam, because it's a steam machine, the steam rises up and you smell all kinds of fruity gum, minty gum. Yeah. Okay, what about gum on clothes? Because, like a pair of jeans, how do you take that off? Well, you got it here. Well, you can actually use bag of ice. If the gum gets on the jeans, sit the bag of ice for about 20 to 25 minutes. On top of the gum? On top of the gum, right. Use crushed ice in a bag. And once it's hardened, you can actually try to peel it off. Oh, and it'll peel off because it froze. So I don't know if you guys noticed, this is the after, this is the before. I feel like it's an infomercial. Well, thank you so much. And again, what I love about all of your jobs is that I always say that all work is honorable work. All legal work is honorable. It's true. And you guys are making a living and doing and very prosperous in this very difficult economy. And so I have fake hair on today. I take my wig off to all of you guys. Well done. We'll be right back. Is a political commentator and a former White House aide, and he is running for Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. He's a family friend, and I love his mama. Please welcome Joe Watkins. Tell everybody how I know Joe Watkins. Joe Watkins is a very close friend of some of my family and people that are very close to me, and we actually spent Thanksgiving together.
We did indeed.
Did you order the short ribs or did you order the turkey?
No, I had the fish. I should have had turkey. I had the fish. I was trying to be good.
The short ribs were so good, and the turkey was good too. We went to this really nice restaurant in Harlem. So you're running for lieutenant governor.
I am.
But sometimes you go on vacations and people confuse you for someone else. Who is it that people confuse you for?
I've been confused for lots of folks, Tara, but I got confused for Denzel Washington. This is
yeah. Oh my God, look at this windscreen. I'm loving it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Denzel, yeah, well, they don't confuse us at the bank, let me tell you. No mistaking. But we were on a cruise. I was on a cruise in the West Indies, and on the first night of the cruise, there was a big show. We went to the show, my wife, and we had our son with us, and we were surrounded by all of our family friends. We were the only African Americans in the group. And at the end of the show, these two dear, sweet ladies with blue hair walked up to one of my friends and said, "Is it all right if we talk to him?" And they said, "Sure, why not? You know, you can talk to him." So they come over to me and they say, "Listen, we know you're on vacation with your family. We don't want to disturb you, but you were excellent in Courage Under Fire and in the Pelican Brief, and we loved you in Glory and The Preacher's Wife. You were just wonderful." And I said, "Oh, wait." I said, usually I'm silly, but I said, "Listen," I said, I'm not Denzel. I know that you think I'm Denzel, but I'm not Denzel." And they said to me, he says, "Oh, don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
We'll tell
keep
anybody."
This secret." They told everybody on the ship.
That's
and for 2
amazing.
weeks, they followed me around with cameras.
Denzel Washington.
Absolutely.
So now Denzel Washington is running for Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Get him to vote for Denzel.
So let's compare politics with just like some pop culture. Is politics more like the Academy Awards, the Super Bowl, or America's Next Top Model?
It's like America's Next Top Model because it's a beauty contest. It really is. Absolutely. It's a beauty contest. They want you, and you have to show. I mean, when it's time, you have to show because there's some parts of it. I mean, they just when you're on stage. For instance, I've got to go speak before caucuses and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? There's just nothing else but having it in your heart and doing it. You know, I mean, being prepared and all that kind of stuff, but you've got to show when you're in front of an audience. And you've got to be able to tell your story and tell it in a way that reaches them, that touches their heart, and that causes them to say, "That's the person I want to represent me."
Got it. Why should people vote for you in Pennsylvania for lieutenant?
Because, well, I've got, I think, I'd like to say that thanks to my parents, I have the greatest background that anybody could wish to have. I've had the best education a guy could want to have, going to great schools. I've worked for a U.S. senator. I've worked in the White House for a U.S. president, which is great. I've been a political analyst on CNN and MSNBC. I've pastored a church and still pastor a church, which is a great opportunity. I've owned my own business, and I love people. And I can't think
Dang, did you guys hear the list? It was like, check, 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 check. What do you think some of the most important issues for young women are? Because that's the majority of my audience are young women that are watching. Yeah. What are the issues that are important for them right now?
I think balancing their work life with their personal life. That's really tough because women have so many demands on them, maybe even more than men have. You know, because
not maybe, we do.
There you go. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge is how do you do that? How do you balance your home life with your work life and with all the demands, especially if you have kids, you know, you've got that challenge. And then how do you find time to do all the things that you need to do, to find time to make sure that you're healthy and that you're whole, that you're eating right, that maybe your spiritual side is being fulfilled. All that's so important.
What about relationships? Because you've been married for how long?
Oh, just a few years. 34 years.
34 years.
34 years. Thank you.
And how do you get it to last that long? Because everybody's getting a divorce.
Well, it takes two. It takes two. Yeah. And you know what? Love takes patience and hard work and never giving up. And I
heard you were jealous back in the day.
I was. Once upon a time, I was.
Like a jealous.
I was silly jealous.
Tell me what kind of jealous?
Oh, I didn't like any. Now, I met the prettiest girl in the world. She's sitting right over there, Stephanie.
Hi.
Stephanie Ann Taylor Watkins. and we were walking down. I was walking down campus with one of my buddies, late to class, and walking up in the other direction was the prettiest girl I'd ever laid eyes on. And her eyes met mine, and she grinned at me. She doesn't remember this because I wasn't that memorable, but I remember every bit of it. And she grinned at me, and I said, "Oh, I've got to meet this girl." And I just made it my business to meet her. I met her. We started dating, and it just changed my life. Now, I was jealous.
The jealous part? Yeah, the jealous.
Well, I was jealous because, you know, she was beautiful and still is, and I saw her, I spotted her, but, you know, I didn't want other people looking at her. And I remember saying silly things like we'd be in class together after we started dating, and I'd say, you know, "What are you looking at? What are you looking at?"
You're one of those paranoid boys.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw you looking at him.
Right. I said, the blackboard is that way.
What about how she dressed? Did you like with how she dressed? Were you like don't wear anything too sexy?
You know, I loved seeing women in the wonderful dress that they wear. You know, except that I didn't want her wearing anything too provocative. And so we used to argue about that. And you know, I have to credit my wife, who was then my girlfriend, with really building the relationship, because my inclination, as is the inclination of a lot of guys, was, you know, I'd say, "I don't want you wearing that." She said, "Did you buy it?" I said, "No, but I don't want you wearing it. You're my girlfriend. You're not going to go out here wearing that." She says, "Listen, I'll wear whatever I please." I said, oh, that's how you feel? She said, "Okay, I'm out of here." And I'd get up, and slam the door and walk out, and then she'd come back. She'd open the door and she'd say, Joe, come back. She's come back. She says, you know what, we're not going to solve anything like this. We may not agree, but let's talk about it.
You know what I love about you sharing this story is that it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many people that are in public office and politicians, it's like a plastic thing, and our relationship was perfect. And we dated, and then we got married. You know, and you're saying, I was jealous, and I was tripping, and I slammed the door, and she said, get your butt back here. That is just real. It is. It's real. Now, you're a very real person, a very warm person, but at the same time, you've had an extraordinary education, as well as your family, which I find amazing. So start off with your education first.
Well, I was blessed. I got a scholarship to a boarding school in Massachusetts. I spent 5 years at the Middlesex School in Concord, Mass. I got a scholarship to Penn, the University of Pennsylvania, which I think is probably, I'd like to think is the best school in the country, but it's a great school. I had a great experience there.
And then your siblings also.
My siblings also
like Ivy League, bam, 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 bam.
They went to lesser schools. My older brother.
Your older brother went to?
My older brother went to Yale. I think it's called Yale. And then my older sister and my younger brother went to Harvard, and my sister went to Columbia, and my sister went to Wellesley. So,
amazing.
Yeah.
I love to death. She is the warmest, spiritist, woman. Where are you, Mrs. Watkins? Stand on up.
There she is.
Yeah. She is so amazing. She gets around. She's dancing a jig. She's like, girl, I saw your show. I love the show. It was so good. Tell everybody how old your mom is.
My mother is 25 years old. It's a medical mystery.
How old are you? How old are you? You want to tell us?
See, she doesn't want to be outed, Tyra. That's she doesn't want to be outed. Her friends think that she's like in her 40s or 50s, and she knows it.
Okay, I won't blast you on national television, but she is a whole lot older than she looks. It's like, I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be Mrs. Watkins. She just looked, you hear the age, which I'm not going to say, you'd be like, dang! Did I say too much? I hope not. Okay, so the last thing, I mean, people are going to be going to the polls in a couple of months. What is the last thing that you want to say?
The last thing I want to say?
Before we finish this
people
segment,
that make sure that you vote for the best person. I hope that person is me, but make sure you vote for the best person because it matters. The people that you elect to political office, they make a difference in your lives. They create the laws that you have to live with. So make sure when you go to the polls that you know who the candidates are and vote for the best person, and I hope you'll consider me. Okay. Joe Watkins for Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, and I loved that answer. It was very selfless. Thank you. And very, very beautiful. We'll be right back. From a lot of the things that you've heard about public. Me modeling, now retired, but it once was a model, now talk show hosting and producing. But a lot of people don't know this. I'm also a beatboxer. And I'm going to show you how I do that because I beatbox with a twist, but that's a little later. Now, you guys know what beatboxing is. It's when you make the drum sounds with your mouth, the nose, a very guy-dominated thing, but not anymore because Tiffany is also known as Lucky Monkey, and she's a female beatboxer who's here to challenge one of the most talented female beatboxers working today. And beatboxing, you know, kind of started with Dougie Fresh and Justin Timberlake. Everybody's doing it now. Okay, how long have you been beatboxing? I've been beatboxing for 3.5 years. It started when I found a video, actually, on MySpace. And, of course, it was a guy doing it, but I was really intrigued by what he was doing. And I searched more about it, and I just started practicing, and here I am. Here you are. Now, there's not a lot of female beatboxers out there, and you're determined to be the best, though, the best female. Of course. Compared to guys, there's not as many females out there, but the population for females is growing a lot. It's growing. Yes. Well, one of the best beatboxers out there is Butterscotch. Yeah, Butterscotch. I bet you know her name because you want to kick her butter, don't you? Oh, yeah. Okay. And why do you want to kick her butter?